Rupp Arena is helping out people impacted by eastern Kentucky flooding from 2 years ago. WKYT's Lucy Bryson shows us what's leaving the arena, how it will help families who are still recovering.
About 2 times a year, this very truck comes by and gathers something that families in Perry County need the most after eastern Kentucky flooding. Today, they're going to be filling up their truck with carpets to furnish homes. A representative from Rupp Arena shared that they specifically save carpets from events held here so that they can donate to CAP. They didn't know how many square feet they were sending off this time, but they tell us it will fill up half of this 48-foot truck. Families will sign up and indicate their need. Then these deliveries will accommodate them. Some families in eastern Kentucky are still trying to rebuild after flooding that happened in 2022. Today, the carpet's final location will be at the ARH Disaster Relief Center. Tina Bryson with Christian Appalachian Project says the need for carpet may be something that's overlooked in recovery efforts, but always warrants a great response from those who benefit.
Partners step in and they take something that you think, well, what would you do with a whole roll of carpet from a concert or from a special gala that was held here at Rupp Arena, and recognize that there are organizations in the community that could put this to use to help real families in need. I think it just puts smiles on people's faces.
They say the carpets should make their way to Perry County by the end of the day. For now, in Lexington, I'm Lucy Bryson, WKYT.
Tina Bryson told us this was a long-standing partnership with Rupp Arena. It's not the first time they've done this. They don't plan on making it the last carpet delivery either.